What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of Mar-A-Lago of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you today?
We're doing very well. We're actually doing very well. Thank you. And what's your name?
Jay.
All right, finally. I think you sound a little tougher than the usual tech stuff people we have. So uh very good to meet you, Tom. The We're feeling good. I think the country's had enough of the wokeness of the radical left agenda. The Sleepy Joe nightmare is almost over. And basically it's a clear path, a very clear, beautiful path to the White House for me very soon. So I'm for the first time since the nightmare began, the Sleepy Joe nightmare, I'm feeling HIV positive about America.
What does that exactly mean?
It's just, it's sort of positive, very positive.
This is an
Like,
expression for being very positive.
well, it's so positive that you almost get worried. Yeah, like when you it's almost like, well, I'm so positive that it's almost, pinch me. Somebody says, pinch me, I'm dreaming, like to see if I'm dreaming.
Yes.
I sometimes say to people, test me for HIV. I'm so positive. Just to make sure it's the right kind of positive and not sort of a nasty sex in the butt in the 80s kind of positive.
Have you ever been in a situation where you and another person talking about HIV positive, but totally two different definitions of your HIV positive?
Oh, well, my attorney, Roy Cohn, great guy until he got AIDS, and I totally ignored him and stopped returning his calls. But he was very loyal to me for decades. Very loyal, great lawyer, helped me out a lot. And then he called me one day and he says, I have some bad news. I'm HIV positive. And I said, you mean like the way we joke? And he said, no, I'm actually in a hospital right now with real issues. And I said, wrong number, and hung up.
Yeah, it's a miscommunication on that situation.
But it's called friendship.
It sounds like it. Oh my goodness. Mr. President, I read something today. I thought it was fake news, but
Well, that was your
apparently
first mistake. I would advise, if I were a doctor, I'd tell you, don't do that. Don't read.
um,
That's how they get woke ideas into you. You read words, and all of a sudden they become ideas. And next thing you know, you're ruining our country.
is it watch TV?
That's
Is it
good.
true?
You see that? That's good. Now you're already taking a president's advice. You saw mini tech stuff showed up, and you said, watch TV, like a president. Like taking, that's how I knew. I knew he had a different tech stuff guy this time. I said he's going to take strong advice from his president. Very strong advice.
No, my apologies, Mr. President. Um,
No, actually, you don't have to. For the first time ever, Tom, I'm going to tell you, the first tech stuff guy, I don't want an apology because I think you showed good judgment there. I was talking about how reading is bad, and then Mini Tech Junior showed up, and you said, "Go watch some TV," and I said, "That's what we're talking. Turn on Fox News." Just kidding. Newsmax. I don't know if you get Newsmax. OAN is obviously good for the kids because most of the people on that channel are about 17. So that's, it's like Disney. It's like Disney Channel for racism and strong patriotism.
Now, Mr. President, is it true you are going to appear on woke CNN town hall in New Hampshire? Is this true? And tell us why.
Well, that is, yes, very interesting. We're going to be on CNN because, there's sort of a technique. A lot of people, as you know, I'm very strong at attacking people's weaknesses. Okay, oh, look at you, you're fat. Well, I'm going to call you fat until you cry or have a heart attack and die. Oh, you're not attractive? Well, I'm going to mention that until you maybe jump off a roof because you're so ashamed. Oh, your wife cheated on you? Well, I'm going to cheat with her as well and send you the videotape. I usually attack people at their weak spot, but there's also a strategy that we're going to be using. You attack people at their strong spots. And with Fox News being disgracefully disloyal to Tucker Carlson, I thought, what a great opportunity to go into Joe Biden's house, basically CNN, the Clinton network, the Clinton News Network, and show them that I can dominate them. And it's we call it two whores with one bullet, you know. And it's when you ever heard the phrase "two birds with one stone,"
Yes.
which is actually what it's called when two people with large noses go down on Roger Stone's wife. Two birds on one stone. But when I do it, it's called two whores with one bullet because I want it to be stronger and tougher. And so we'll be showing Fox News that they've lost the greatest asset they've ever had, me, as well as their second greatest asset, Tucker Carlson. But then imagine Sleepy Joe sitting at home drinking a warm Ensure at 8:30 at night, getting tucked in by Koala Bear Harris and fake Dr. Joe Biden. And all of a sudden he turns on his beloved radical left CNN. I don't know. Donald Trump is getting the greatest ratings CNN has ever seen. Oh no, Jack, I think I'm passing out. And then you have, that's actually, that's two whores with one stone. But it's a very strong technique. So yes, I will be going on CNN because it's a lot of fun dominating them from conservative media, but it's going to be so much more fun. It's fun having sex with someone's wife, but it's so much more fun when you send them the videotape after. And that's what I'll be doing by appearing on Sleepy Joe's favorite network, CNN. And then Fox will
You'll be
probably,
sending him the videotape after.
it's called metaverse. It's a metaverse. When you kind of say something, but you mean it's like a symbol for something. And
Metaphor.
basically, oh,
Exactly.
well, there you go. And I just think maybe Rupert Murdoch will also have like a big Australian, you know, stroke when he's watching me on CNN, realizing that his beloved property, Fox News, is a total dump.
Do you think Newsmax or OAN might get upset since you're appearing on CNN?
No, OAN will never get upset with me. That's what we love about OAN and Newsmax. They know what I'm doing. I think they both respect the strategy. They both respect the strategy, so we're not worried. We're still great friends, great admirers of the great work they're doing at OAN and Newsmax.
What do you think Democrats are going to do when they turn on their TVs to watch their daily dose?
Oh no, I'm never watching CNN again. How could you platform? They're going to talk about platform. Oh, how could you platform the greatest president in history? How could you do that, CNN? He's only the most important person in the world. How could you have him on your news? This is where even the left is more ridiculous than CNN. They'll be crying about, oh, was CNN not supposed to have a great president on their news channel? Oh, very interesting call. And they'll all run to MSNBC, and MSNBC with their terrible ratings will be screaming and crying, oh, Donald Trump, we would never do that. Well, you know why you'd never do that? That's like Rosie O'Donnell saying, I'd never have sex with Donald Trump. Don't worry, Rosie, you'd never have the chance.
I'm really shocked that you are appearing on CNN. I understand this is kind of a power move and using CNN. I guess you're using each other because they're going to get great ratings out of it. And I guess if people are going to talk about it, it's good for everyone.
And I'll be wearing a tie that says Truth Social, so it'll be very strong advertising as well.
Are you really branding on TV for True Social?
Strong branding. And actually, speaking of branding, let's go
Mhm.
branding. We are offering a sale to All conservative African Americans who are willing to get Truth Social branded on their arm or thigh.
What's the deal?
What do you mean? What's the deal?
What do they get for branding it on?
We're calling it the slaving savings deal.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, what?
I don't think that is a great title for it.
Oh, well, Ben Carson and Candace Owens already signed up, so we're doing strong and with strong blacks. Maybe not the woke blacks, but other blacks, conservative blacks. They were like, "Yes, brand me, sir, brand me."
It's crazy. That's very crazy. President, I wanted to ask you about another thing in the news. Tell me if this is true, and I need an explanation if it is true. Allegedly, after your rally in Waco, Texas in March, an NBC News reporter named Vaughn Hillyard was asking you questions about Alvin Bragg, bringing up the trial, and then he was saying that you're getting frustrated. And after you asked him to stop asking the questions a couple of times, he asked another question about it. You took his 2 cell phones, you threw them, and then you told your people to get him out of here. Is this true? Is this false? Partial Truth Social, negative Truth Social explanation.
It is a full truth, a total social. And that should be a warning. That's private citizen Trump, how I deal with nasty people now. You might not like me when I get back into office. What I'm going to do, we'll throw his ass right off of Air Force One, midair, no parachute.
So that's a be step to you when you're when you become president again. It's not we wait till we land to kick you off or just kick you out of the room on Air Force on your plane. It's out the window.
Out the window, and then we throw your phones out after you, so in case they can hit you in the head as you're going down.
Very, very thoughtful of you. Very thoughtful. Have you dealt with other reporters like this before? If a CNN reporter did the same questioning, since you're going to be on CNN, well, you didn't know this was a while ago. If this was a right-wing reporter, would you deal with it the same way?
Oh, depends on which one it is. If it's Chanel Rion from OAN, I would probably take her in the back and dominate her. Peacefully.
For asking nasty questions.
Now, she wouldn't ask nasty questions unless she was doing role play. Like we might do role play, like OAN. I think if they want great ratings on OAN, what they should do is put me on there with some of the 19-year-old, 23-year-old anchors, beautiful women. Why not beautiful? They're okay. They're not as beautiful, to be honest, as the Fox or Newsmax women, but they try harder, if you know what I mean. And you throw me in, we might do role. How about OAN? Imagine the ratings if OAN did news role play with President Trump, and then Chanel Rion, a nice sort of Polynesian looking whore, gets up there and starts asking me very nasty questions. And then I go, you know what, get your ass up here on the podium right now. And we just do it on the podium. I think the ratings would be incredible.
What would you be role playing as?
Like she's a nasty left-wing reporter and I'm a president who's going to shut her up.
Okay.
With presidential penis.
I guess that works. That role play works.
You can't ask nasty questions with 2.5 inches of presidential. I get emotional. When you have such a great idea, it's almost you're giddy. You're giddy about it. So, but you get the drift. I think that would be tremendous ratings.
I think it would be definitely tremendous ratings for sure, Mr. President. And it's very ballsy of you to do that. Throw cell phones. I don't think any other.
You think that's ballsy? You should see what I do to OAN reporters during role play with President Trump.
Well, Maybe we'll get to see in the future.
Patreon.
Mr. President, before we get to our next story, I want to talk about one of our awesome sponsors, and that is FanDuel. Make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs going on right now, because new customers can get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. I mean, that's an awesome promotion. I have not used this promotion yet, but Knicks game tomorrow night. Yes, I think I may have to use this promotion. I mean, FanDuel, that's the only website I use to bet. Money get paid immediately. You can cash right out if you want to. I love how you can bet during the game. So many future prop bets on there. Mr. President, have you made any recent wagers on FanDuel?
I did. I was very upset because I actually placed a strong bet on the Kings, Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
They had, they had a very big white guy on their team, Sabonis. And, Mike Pence always thought it was Saboner, but I was like, no, Mike, it's Sabonis. And it almost sounds like an Italian guy talking about his Christmas bonus. It's Sabonis. And I bet on him very strongly, and Steph Curry. And I can't trust, he's very light African American. He's like a coffee with I'll take a little extra milk in my coffee. And that made me almost think he was going to be nice, but he was actually nastier. He was almost like dark black nasty, Wesley Snipes. And he scored 50 points and he humiliated that very big white Sabonis. And so I was very upset, but I placed a strong wager on FanDuel on that, but I'm not giving up on FanDuel. They've been very good to me. So we're going to continue to work with them. And I'm going to talk to people, see if they can reverse, maybe they can change. All I need is 22 points for the Sacramento Kings. If FanDuel can get me 22 points for the Sacramento Kings last night, that's all we need and we win.
That's right. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Boston and get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. COIMINJOHPAILTN&VA. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in AZ, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat-NCT. 1-800-9-WITH-IT, 1-800-522-4700, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com, 1-877-770-STOP, Louisiana. Gambling Help Line ma.org, or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in MA. Visit www.mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland, 1-888-78-HOPE New York, or text HOPE New York to 467-369 in New York, 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming, or visit www.1800gambler.net in West Virginia. Now back to the show. Mr. President, I wanted to ask you how this rape trial was growing. Is the rape trial?
I was about to tell you, and then you said trial. And I was like, oh, well, no, I don't know how the trial is going, but I'll tell you. Here's the thing. I'm so tired of this trial, this fake. It's a fake rape. We call it a FAPE. And it's as my great lawyer, Joe Tapioca, said, he said, "Didn't you say you loved The Apprentice? And haven't you been shopping for decades after this alleged attack at Bill Buckner Goodman, whatever the name, the store, the fancy store?
He is Bergdorf Goodman. Yeah.
That too. I think she
Mhm.
shopped there as well. But and she shopped there. She was so traumatized, she kept shopping there. And she's so angry at me. She loved The Apprentice. That was a great show. A lot of people who don't like me still love The Apprentice because it was that talented. But the point is, clearly she's making it all up. Clearly, none of this happened. And basically, I just want to tell her, E. Jean, phone home. Get the hell out of here. Bye bye. See ya. Sayonara. Whatever race you are. Bye bye. I can give her some Reese's Pieces if she wants. Remember that? Remember when E.
I
Jean,
do remember that.
the
You're
Spielberg movie?
yes, E.T. You're
No,
trying
no, it's
to
E.
yeah,
Jean.
Eugene. Okay. Um,
Phone home. Remember Phone Home?
yes, I do.
And they said Reese's Pieces, and I thought that's a good candy. That's pretty strong. I think it was, at that time I liked E. Jean then. She wasn't my type. Yeah, she was sort of an ugly, almost alien-looking thing in the movie, but very nice and didn't accuse anybody. Didn't accuse. Did a trans. I remember the trans thing. It showed up in the closet dressed in women's clothing. But didn't make a big deal out of it. So we didn't have to ban it from playing high school sports. Didn't try to play sports. But E. Jean, go home.
Well, aren't you try to file for a mistrial?
A mistrial or a
Attempted?
miscarriage if there was a that's I do that often with affair alleged affairs I've had. If we don't use a condom, I file for a miscarriage. I say to a judge, miscarry this, please. This is a disgrace.
Now, she said during the trial that the reason why she didn't speak up about this rape is that her generation stayed quiet about assault.
And that's why they were called the greatest generation. Even better. And I respect our veterans from World War II. Very strong. Tom Brokaw called them the greatest generation. I think for a time you could say they were, but I think the women who quietly got sexually assaulted and said nothing, those are the greatest Americans. Now you have to go now you have to go to Russia or Brazil to sort of do strong assault and not have people talk. So now Americans, they want to do social media, they want to do lawsuits, they want to do criminal charges. It's a real sad time in our country, to be honest.
Well, Mr. President, I wanted to ask you, talking about our country, and there was a poll that the American people think that our country is divided because the news media divides America. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that's completely the truth. That's completely the truth. I think it's the media that divides people, because we could be so much more unified if our country would just realize that Republicans are beautiful, intelligent patriots, and Democrats are scum-sucking animals not worthy of breathing our same air. And then the media totally takes that out of context and divides people. They divide people. Instead of coming together, the media reports things that I say word for word, and it divides people. And it's a real disgrace. And they have no shame. They have no honor. They have no integrity. It's honestly, if it wasn't so dangerous, it would be sad.
Well said, Mr. President. Very well said. Mr. President, before we have a bunch of questions from our listeners. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Rocket Money, Mr. President. You're a fan of Rocket Money. I'm a fan of Rocket Money. People, are you wasting your money on subscriptions? Because 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account or a Hulu account that never gets streamed. There's this great app I use that helps me track all of my expenses, and because of it, I no longer waste money on subscriptions I don't even use. You might have heard of it. It is called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost per month? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but you're really actually spending closer to $200 or more. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. There's this app I love using. It takes care of it for me. I don't have to email anyone. I don't have to call a helpline, customer service, only certain hours. Such a pain in the ass. It's all done by Rocket Money. That's right, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions all in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. That's right, they do everything for you. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you don't know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription you signed up 1 year, forgot you signed up for it, signed up again. That's right. To cancel subscription, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. It's so easy. You just press cancel and you're done with it. You don't have to call anyone, email anyone. It's so beautiful and it's so convenient. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/MPGA. Now back to the show. President, the last live episode that we have was one for the books. People, lots of messages.
We actually say one for the TV. We don't do books.
One for the TV. Okay. Well, it's one for the TV. Getting lots of messages about it. Check out our next month, guys. This month. That's right. It's the first episode of the new month. That's where we're taking questions tonight. Go to patreon.com/MPGA. Hundreds of hours of bonus content, from different holidays to Fred Trump traditions to special guests to movie reviews.
Excuse me. Even though we're still investigating who the hell let it happen, but even recently, the bonus where Ron DeSantis basically broke into our studios and recorded a bonus episode. People are saying that was absolutely outrageous, and we've kept it as evidence in a future criminal trial because it was he raped our show.
I mean, that far.
No, I would go even farther, and I would say he raped our show. And the one thing I will not stand for is the sexual degradation of a beautiful patriotic podcast.
Well, check out all the content, patreon.com/MPGA. Mr. President, lots of questions for you. I went through them. I picked these as I think ones that you will enjoy. We're going to go to Facebook first, and of course, we are going to go to our Patreon president, Alex's iPhone G. I love that new name for him.
Very good. Thank you for remembering it.
No problem. Dear Mr. President, Reverend Shaman Esquire, sir, Cinco de Cuatro is only a few days away. Any special plans? Perhaps a trip to Puerto Rico, no hurricane, and a reprise of your perfect paper towel jump shot.
Well, for Cinco de Cuatro, which is, and honestly, now that I'm thinking, we should probably also have a Cuatro de Cinco on April 5th, because it's 45. I was the 45th president. And by the way, when I get back into the White House, I'll be the 47th president. And you know what 7-4 is, tech stuff? What's 7-4?
7 + 4 is 11.
No, I didn't ask math. If you're looking at a calendar,
74.
If you're looking at a calendar, and you're looking at 7-4, what is that?
I don't know.
Tech stuff. Have you ever written down a date, like on a check or
July
on a
4th?
piece of paper?
Okay.
Well, there you go.
You could
So
say like how
if
dates
I'm
are written, and then I'd be like, oh,
if
okay, how
I'm
dates are written. Okay.
well, we try to be smooth, and if I'm the 47th president, that's July 4th, basically. In Europe, that's how they'd write it in nasty Europe.
In Hebrew,
Who's he?
in the way they write in Hebrew is from right to left instead of left to right.
Whatever Brew's pronouns are, it's sort of irrelevant. But the point is, they it's sort of fate that I would be the 47th president, being that it's basically July 4th, but in human form. But anyway, the point is, let's answer President Afonji's question. We don't have any plans for Cinco de Quattro. We'll probably have just a low-key night of, respectful content. We'll watch some Speedy Gonzalez and Slowpoke Gonzalez cartoons. Roger Stone's wife, obviously we call her the filthy taco. She's Cuban, but she pretends to be Mexican it's basically the same thing, for our Cinco de Quattro holiday. And a lot of sour cream on that taco. That's all I'll say about that. But now we're going to be, because we're focused now, we have to save our country first. So we're focused now on re-election, winning a third term. And so there's not as much celebration. So it'll be pretty low key. We'll watch Speedy and Slowpoke, and we'll dress in brown face, and we'll have strong sexual parties with Latin women and just pretend they're Mexican, and just a very low key, respectful Cinco de Quattro. And but we're focused, as I'm sure President iPhone G is focused on our country and our podcast. We're focused on those things now because it's getting too close to the destruction of our country.
Mr. President, this comes from our vice president, Michael Craig from Down Under. It says, "Good day from Down Under, Dr. President, sir. What are your thoughts on not being invited to King Charles' coronation? Do you plan to gate crash it while you're in the UK?"
Well, that's a good question. Well, that is, unlike his mother, who is a lovely woman, very strong, very respectful, very, very beloved. Alyssa, remember the old queen, and very beloved, very respectful. And from what I hear, nobody really likes Charles. He has the fattest. You ever see his fingers?
What's the matter?
Well, there's been seems like there might be a slight emergency at the Tech Stuff home, so we're gonna do strong hopes and thoughts and prayers as well. Not me, but hopefully other people pray. We're gonna hope that this is all good. I think it's the Tech Stuff is he's handling a lot of technical stuff. And if anybody out there is very into prayer, we hope that you'll do strong prayer. I know that my pastor, Greg Locke, right now is in Tennessee right now, calling for the death of all Democrats, but also doing strong prayers for Tech Stuff people. So it's called Good Christianity. And so I think I hear the Tech Stuff guy returning, and I think we're all good.
It's okay.
And he's reassuring everybody on the show, to be honest, that it's all okay. It's going to be okay. But I got to tell you, we're going to have to see about, we might have to send out some FBI, some Secret Service to see what these Tech Stuff kids are doing, because I don't think they're being very patriotic. I think they're being very nasty to our people. Okay, well, you can leave all that in, because I was being, how they talk about healing the nation, like healer in chief, when there's like a tragedy, like Sleepy Joe becomes president and they need a healer in chief.
Yes.
I was providing healing to our audience. We were offering, I was asking our audience, I don't do prayers. I'm sort of above that, but I was asking anybody who does prayers to have strong Tech Stuff family prayers.
There was a bug. That's what it was. I thought I didn't know what was going on. That was
Let me tell you
crazy
something,
screaming.
people. Let me tell you, on your behalf, and I never do this for the tech stuff people, but I'm going to talk right now to the audience. We have tech stuff people working very hard, not as hard as me, but working very hard. And they're living in bug infested places because we don't have enough Patreon subscribers. So if you like the content and you don't want the tech stuff family being bitten to death by bugs, their blood is on your hands. If they wake up and there's a dead tech family and you see bug bites all over their faces, that's on you for not joining the Patreon. So thank you. That's called fundraising. That's sort of my specialty. Okay, back to the questions. Michael C. from Australia was asking about, no, King Charles, he has fat fingers. I hear nobody really likes him. He totally screwed up with Diana. He had a tall, skinny, very sad blonde. And if I were ever on a dating website, the top four things I would list on my requirements are tall, skinny, blonde, and very sad. And that's how you get a great relationship. And he screwed that up totally. So I wouldn't want to be at Charles's a Corona party. You know, I don't even drink beer, so I wouldn't have to be there. And no, so we don't support him. I feel nothing. I'm not jealous at all. I mean, I hope he has a horrible time as king and even more violent and horrible death. But no, I don't feel anything. I'm not upset or jealous or mad. It is what it is. He's a weak person. He's a complete British piece of shit. I hope him and chamomile tea bowls, whatever her name is. I hope they both have heart attacks and die violently while doing awful British sex while choking on tea. But I don't care. If they don't want to invite me, that's okay. That's okay. We'll see what happens.
Our next question comes from Instagram. This is Mark_Allen6.
By the way, that would make a very timely, strong audiogram. Not to tell you how to do your job, but that with the coronation and Saturday would be probably top tier content. It's called content.
Mr. President, sir, you have had so many controversial events associated with you, rape, treason, etc. However, your base is unwavering in their devotion to you. Have you ever
I never did it. Excuse me, I never did, etc.
Have you ever pondered doing something even more incredibly extreme just to test their faith, something of biblical proportion? We are ready to condone.
I don't know. I think obviously when that's actually a very strong question because as a strong Bible Christian that I am, our plan is to go much bigger for the inauguration in 2025. What we're going to do then is we're going to declare the firstborn of every Democrat dead. So it's going to be called the strong Second Amendment of the second term of the first sons.
It's very interesting.
Peacefully.
Of course, peacefully. This next comes from Natty Parks on Instagram. Dr. Mr. President, sir.
Great respect.
Of his name, King of the Andals and the Roiner and the First Men, Lord of the 50 States and the Protector of the Suburbs.
Okay, wow, Game of Thrones. I believe that's Game of Thrones. I think they're calling me the Ned Stark of strong presidents. So very nice.
Today, your lawyers motioned for a mistrial in the Billie Jean, Not My Lover, Carroll case due to his pervasive, unfair, and prejudicial rulings against you. Will you be suggesting raging Brett Kavanaugh as a replacement judge in this matter due to his ability to be fair-minded in matters like this one?
Well, I think if I could, that would be, he hasn't been the greatest Supreme Court justice for me, but I think that would be a good choice. Except I would be afraid that, I didn't do any rape, but I'd be afraid that Brett Raging Brett Kavanaugh might rape this person in the courtroom. And then it would be sort of guilt by association. They'd start looking at me going, well, if his judge is raping the plaintiff, maybe he did too. And I'd say, no, it doesn't work like that. It's called innocent until proven more innocent. So, it's, I think that's a great idea. I don't think it would work, but I don't think that's a bad idea. But I have to turn it down because, it's called guilt by association. And what would you think if I brought in Brett Kavanaugh to be the judge, and all of a sudden he's 3 beers deep, and he's
not trustworthy 3 beers,
grabbing
the jurors.
He's grabbing Jean Carroll Burnett by the throat and saying, I'm the judge here, and you're going to do what I say. I'd say, nah, Brett, not helping, Brett.
Raging Brett. Miss Raging Brett.
Well, the Supreme Court is making a bunch of decisions in, I don't know when they make their decisions, usually like June before they before they get out of school or something. And maybe we'll have Raging Brett on to do strong Supreme Court anal cis for the people, for our great people.
Of course. This comes from Aaron 450.
By the way,
yes.
Before these people get to the end of the show and they go, okay, turning it off. Thank you, sir. Leave 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yes. And leave reviews too. Helps with the algorithm.
It helps Al Gore's rhythm, even though he can't dance worth shit.
It comes for Aaron 415 SF. Dear Sir, Dr. Grand Wizard and President for Life, sir, I come to you to ask this with tears in my eyes. Recently, you provided some fire bars on the track Justice for All for a group called the J6 Prison Choir, which went to #1 on the iTunes Music Store. Does this mean you have plans to drop your own full LP? And if so, can you reveal anything about what some of the songs might be about?
Sure. Well, as I'm sure Aaron SF15 was at it, he sounds like a suntan lotion.
Aaron 415 SF SPF.
What I'm saying is, that's a great idea. Obviously, we're doing Jim Crow records that the label is doing unbelievably strong. And I actually have a plan to release a 2024 album. So he's obviously thinking in the right direction, but I'll be releasing a full album on Jim Crow Records in 2024 as the election leads up. And, we can maybe release some samples later this year, but it's going to be very dynamic. There'll be some country music. I have a song, the first track, the first release on Truth Social will be called N-Word with a hard R. And we already got Billboard sensation Morgan Wallen, who's going to say it for us many times on the track. We have a country song featuring Kid Rock, which is called If You Bring That Bud Light in My House, I'll Murder You. So that's a good song. So we're working on songs, but it's going to have rap, it's going to have country, it's going to have a little bit of pop, and even a little bit of jazz, but like the white jazz from the 20s, not the black jazz from like the 50s.
Okay. Are you going to be the first president to ever have your own album playing as a soundtrack for your own inauguration?
I was just delivered some presidential pretzel bites. Oh, we like that. Very strong presidential snack. There you go.
Those are good.
This is, I don't want to say what this is like, but, oh, and Tiffany Trump just showed up. What a lovely surprise.
That was a big hit, by the way, on the Patreon. A lot of comments about the last Perfect 10 video.
Well, I felt people have been very unfair to Tiffany. Just because she's an ugly sack of shit and nobody loves her, it doesn't mean that she shouldn't have respect. So I thought it was important to let her have some content. But what was the question? Yeah, well, so there it is. The album. What was your question?
I said, are you going to be the first president to have his own album playing as a soundtrack for the inauguration?
Oh, I think so. I think that's pretty
Great
clear that I
idea.
will be.
Yeah.
And we can have live tracks. We can have Morgan Wallen just up there on the stage screaming the N-word as his albums continue to sell #1.
Uh, we have a last question here, Mr. President. It's from at Andrew Asienzo. Mr. President, sir, we've already established that there should be an official Trump Day, national holiday, but what about an official Trump month? Which month would you choose, or would you prefer to create your own dedicated new 13th month and add it to the calendar? God bless you.
That's a great question. But the radical left pretzel bite that I just ate is trying to give me the hiccups, which is, I think that counts as a presidential assassination attempt. Well, there's two options. Obviously, I'm going to say there's three options. You take over February and you ruin Black History Month immediately. You declare it Trump History Month.
Okay.
So the most woke month becomes the most anti-woke month, which I think would be a strong choice. And people would say, but sir, there's only 28 days. And it's like, no, it's not about ego. It's about doing what's right. I think you could add a 13th month, like the person said, and you call it Trump.
What do you want to call it? Rump?
Trump.
So leave the T off of it?
No, Trump.
Okay, just call it Trump.
Trump.
It works.
And on Trump and on Trump 18th.
Not Trumpuary?
Hold on. Trump
Okay.
18th is a holiday where every woman who turned 18 that year celebrates with strong presidential sex. Unless you're in another state, and some states can observe Trump 16th. And on Epstein Island, it will be Trump 12th. But then I was also going to say we rename the third option was rename June because, anti-Semitism. And we call it Troon for Truth Social June.
There you go. A little remix of the calendar. Thank you for your question, Andrew. Mr. President, thank you once again for joining us. You're a very busy man between pretzel bites and rape. We glad you can get us into the schedule. Thank you for everyone listening out there, and join the patreon.com/mpga. That's right, patreon.com/mpga, and support our sponsors, FanDuel and Rocket Money. Thank you to everyone, and follow me at JNog on social media. And I got the dates coming this summer, and I'll be announcing them soon. And for the fall, goodyshow.com. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Pretzel bites are very good. Thank you, everybody. Remember to join the Patreon. You've been freeloading for years, you piggers with a hard R. Join the Patreon. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Write a review if you like the show. I assume there's literally thousands and thousands and maybe even millions of you. So give it love, give it support. And that's it. But now, hey guys, it's JL. It was me the whole time. No shows to report. My career is basically over. But my special Tall Boy, which was my second special, but is going to be my first, it seems, should be ready in June. So the best way to get access to that early is to join my other Patreon. So if you got money to spare and you want to see that special first, join patreon.com/JLCovan. A lot of bonus stuff, like tons of bonus stuff there. Reviews, podcasts, videos, etc. My cover art for my special is up on the Patreon. But after and then I have nothing to say about Half Blackface, except we're at day 555 since the first time I taped it, and we are May 14th, which is Mother's Day, will be the 1-year anniversary of the second taping of Half Blackface. So it's become really a complete and total nightmare. So I'm trying to focus on Tall Boy, because that is moving ahead nice and smoothly, the way things should move. So hopefully by June, I'll be able to announce both of them. But yeah, check out my Patreon, check out my other podcast if you want more comedy from me and more nonsense. Beyond that, I'll just keep you in the loop if I add more shows, but it seems unlikely. I think 20 years is enough to spend failing in one life. So we'll see, though. On that cheery note, everybody, thanks for listening, and God help us all.